Okay, so we sit in a circle. Let us sit in a circle. Yes, we are not going to give public in any case. So welcome to public speaking. The second greatest fear of human being. Death. There are some people who disagree on that. They say no, death is easier to face than public speaking. So, whichever one, you can take it number 1, number 2, number 4, number 5, whatever it is. And you can be fearless about it also. So we will begin. You will have exactly 1 minute to see this whole paper. Huh? I didn't say anything. I just said see it for 1 minute. Okay, done. Correct. Okay, so now, so can you tell us how many words are there in that? Or tell me as many words as you know from that.
Forgive. Action.
Hey, I asked her.
Forgive. Action.
Give me one sheet.
Give. Change. Love.
वो तो दूसरी बार आया. You said love once.
Infoundable.
Infoundable.
Indomitable. And faith. Savor. Save.
How many? 9 more. One more.
Perfection.
Not there. me one more.
Peaceful.
B is not there. Okay.
Calm.
No. Okay, well done. 9 of them. Please give her a big hand. Advait, you try any other words apart from those 9. Dai, Advait.
Listen, learn, perceive, change, grace,
One more.
preserve,
Right. Okay, give him also a big hand. Why did we do this exercise? Memory power. So if we make, there are different ways to remember things. As a public speaker, there are many places where you will not have this facility of PowerPoint. I mean the projection, and they don't have some just simple small classes where you have to just go and talk. So there we need to know our points very clearly. So how do we link our points? How do we remember? How do we associate? How word association, picture association, there are different ways to remember things. So one of the important aspects of public speaking is not just speaking, it is understanding and remembering. That is the first important aspect. A lot of people think about public speaking only in terms of speaking. But before speaking, speaking is only an expression. Listening comes first, reading comes next, because that's the process you have followed now. First you were hearing, right? There some speaker was speaking and you were hearing. So first comes listening. Then comes you going through it, reading it. Then comes the understanding. Then comes public speaking. So generally public speaking, people only think of public speaking as a talking skill, but listening, retention, understanding, observation, focus, so many factors come into that. Now the second aspect of this exercise, from that whole list, choose one word. And you will have to speak. I will give you 1 minute only to prepare. And then I will pick up and you will have to speak for 1 minute, 1 full minute on that word. And if somebody else has already done that word which you have chosen, you have to think of another word. You can't repeat.
So can we book our work now?
No, you can't put the word now. Okay, so your time starts now. Actually, I should give only half a minute to choose the word. Yeah, for choosing the word only half a minute. And half a minute for preparation. So 1 minute is enough. I didn't tell you to write anything. No writing. You have to remember. I mean, you have to choose your word mentally, remember your points mentally, and talk verbally. No, you can't talk mentally because people don't have telepathic powers. Only 10 seconds. Okay, time up. Fine. So now from this side. Start.
That is not. Okay, my word that I've chosen is relax. The word that I've chosen is relax. When I say relax, what is it that comes to your mind? Like, the first instant thing that comes to everybody's mind is, wow, going on an exotic vacation, holiday, just going there, sitting on that hammock, looking at the view, enjoying the delicious food that we have. But is that really what relaxing means? Doesn't relaxing means just calming your mind down, putting all your thoughts aside, and just being with yourself? That also means relax. But we, being in a very materialistic world these days, we tend to really lose out on the essence of relax. Or any word, if you take in, the real essence of the word is actually lost somewhere, and we are really going behind things which are so immaterial. So I think relax should be in a, if you look at it in a very different point of view, you can even relax at home, in your bedroom, nicely just calming yourself down. Even meditation is a great relaxing exercise that you could do. Stress relieving, anything just relieves your stress, makes you apart from your daily routine, keeps you calm. Think, really pause and think for a second is what relaxing could mean. Not necessarily meaning to go on an exotic holiday or just having fun. Another thing of relaxing is at what cost are we really looking at the relax, is what I wanted to really talk about. The cost in the sense, for some relaxing could be going in on a social event or helping someone. That could be really relaxing. And for some, the definition of relax, as I said, could be a holiday. But what really we need to think is what is the purpose behind the relaxing as well that we're looking at. It shouldn't be just too self-centric in the sense, I want to relax, I want to go there, but at what cost? Is my relaxing really having an impact on the others as well? That's a very important thing which everybody needs to just pause and think before relaxing yourself.
Okay.
I have selected the word exercise. Okay. When we think of exercise, what do you think? Is it a physical exercise or some other way? Physical? Okay. Physical. But I feel that with physical exercise, even there is a mental exercise. For example, in mental exercise, you can just keep your eyes closed, just watch your breath. Of course, it's a part of a physical exercise. But even if you keep your eyes closed and relax, as she said, it will help you a lot. It will mentally make you feel calm, peace. You will be able to think more. You will be able to take decisions more in your life. When it comes to physical exercise, it's more about physical energy. When you want to channelize your energy, that is, you do your Surya Namaskar, or you run out, or you do gym, or whatever exercise. So it will make you more, the energy will be born, and it will give you more power to work for the next session, because you will be fresh. You won't feel that dullness or laziness.
Okay. Okay.
I choose the word imperfection. Nothing's perfect. None of us are perfect. Not is the competition in an economy perfect. It's good to be imperfect. You can't please everyone every time. You can't be good to everyone every time. When we do something, we should remember a couple of things, like we should remember our roots, we should be ethical and stuff like that. But it's imperfection है, देखो ऊपर.
First one.
Oh, never mind, Swamiji, imperfections are okay. Okay, that was suddenly out of words. Okay, so it's good to be imperfect. You can't please everyone every time. Be yourself. We were born to be original and not a copy. I think I'm done. You lost my track. ऐसे आपने joke मारा. I
There
lost
is
my
so
track.
many people in the audience suddenly ask you question. How will you do? How can you lose track?
Okay, getting back to track. Imperfections. Losing track is another imperfection, but it's okay. I'm still trying my best to get back to it. And yeah, that's imperfection. Yada okay, Swamiji.
Next time you raise your hand and ask a question, remember this. How much the person's thought flow gets disturbed. And people say we should have, we should be allowed to ask questions in between and, interact. And so nice to say, let's be interactive, interactive. Okay, be interactive. Let us see now when you go and talk now, interactive. Okay, you would like to try?
The word I have chosen is savior. When the savior, when the word comes, the meaning is actually basically helping other person and serving the society, serving the community, serving the village, serving anybody. Actually, when the savior word comes to me, immediately my attention gets to the Lord Krishna's picture. When he was a child, he was helping other people, and when he was Bala Krishna, like basically, villagers had tough time with the king, this Kalinga, the poisonous snake. He used to poison the Yamuna river and the cows who used to get poisoned. And then he killed the Kalinga snake and saved the community village. As well as when there was a torrential rains, the Indra was very furious, and it was the whole village was inundated with flooding water. The Govardhana, the hill he saved, and the entire village like named Krishna as savior. And that is how these are the two examples I can say. And because of this, the savior, we should be happy, like for the Krishna saved the whole community. And
One point is it was Kalia, not Kalinga.
Yeah.
The snake was Kalia.
And he didn't kill the snake.
Yeah, he didn't kill him. He just told him to go away. Back to the oceans. Okay.
The word that I'm going to speak about is purpose. What is our purpose? Whatever we do, whatever we act, have you ever thought, is there a purpose behind it? Okay. Let me talk about myself and the word purpose. A very significant word in my life these days. I've been 20 years working in the corporate world, doing retailing, loving my job, never thought anything, food or nothing, but I didn't know the purpose behind it. The only reason I used to do my job was because I loved it. It was so passionate, money or no money, whether they, in fact when they used to pay me, I was like, wow, they're paying me for doing this. I can't believe it. I would do it free of cost. So when you have a passion, okay, there's a point in life where that passion will stop because there's no purpose behind it. You just love it. You love it to death. But after a point, that passion somehow or the other, if it's not backed by a purpose, okay, one point of time purpose was money, financial needs. Another time it was fulfilling, so I went through that phase. And now comes the phase where you got money, you achieved the highest in your company that you want to grow. You don't want to go beyond because then it's just people management, which is not my passion, because governance was my passion. Then you start only, getting into conflicts with people. So then comes like, what is your purpose in life? So it's very important to know at every stage and everything that you're doing, what is your purpose in life? Are you doing it just for yourself? Are you doing it for somebody else? And what I've learned over here is, if you are doing it for something higher than just yourself, that's more fulfilling. And that's
The word that I'm going to speak about is prayer. Now prayer, many of us have our own notions of what a prayer is. Some of us think that sitting down in a temple properly, with all that ambience is called as a prayer. Some of us think that when I'm walking on the road, suddenly I feel that the nature is beautiful, I see something good, and when I transmit positive energy, that is also a prayer. So yeah, everybody has has their own ways of connecting to the supreme entity, and I believe all those ways are valid. Each way can be called as a prayer. But the ambience really makes a difference. It is required because I just learned this in a Sikh camp actually. They taught me that when I love cricket, when I really love cricket, I need to go to the stadium and watch it. It doesn't please me when I sit at home and there is TV, there are different views also, there are different angles from which it's shot, but it doesn't help me. I need to go to the stadium and I need to see Dhoni hitting a sixer. So in the same way, you know, when I'm praying, I cannot be anywhere. I need to have that ambience around. So that is why we have many things to facilitate our praying. The temple where there is an idol.
Okay.
Nobody is escaping. So,
Okay, I'll be talking about love. In my life at least, love does mean a lot because since I was a kid, I didn't really face the thing of parents' love, grandparents' love. My father died just 2 years back. But anyways, I didn't have a very cordial relationship with him because I am the second child, etc., etc. But my mother was always there with me. I had the mother love that it is. And that's why my mother was my father and my mother since my birth. Since I know there's somebody known as mother who exists in my life, that's what mother is. But after my dad died, there were many phases I passed, you know, and then I realized with a mother there are many people, many things that get love or what love is. Like I learned to love my passion for drawing, for dancing, for talking. People who know me around, they really know that I talk a lot. I am making it dance. You give me a chance and I talk. Even everybody knows. So I learned to live like that. I was not very intelligent, but now, because I use my passion for drawing as my studying ways, because I am doing fashions and all. So that's how I am increasing, and that's how I want to reach somewhere in life with all the people around me. So yes.
The word I have chosen is focus. Focus can be defined as concentrating or putting all your energies and thoughts towards one direction. It's important to always realize where your focus is. If it is positive, it aids you. If it's on the other side, it ruins you. And it's important to stay focused. And how do you keep the focus alive? Okay, you got the focus, so how do you go about it? You need to have a clarity, you need to have a purpose backed by values and consistency. And this consistency, you have to practice some routines. Having said all this, it's always important to, and you can achieve whatever you want by staying focused. Yes, you need to have the right ambience, right set of people. Above all, you need to be motivating yourself at all the times. And a person who is focused can get whatever he wants, provided he has the focus on the right things.
Actually, I had chosen the word exercise, but it was already taken up. So I've forgotten all the words that are there, but I'm not sure whether fear is there. If fear is there, I can talk about fear. Even if it's not there, I'll talk about fear.
Fearless is there.
No, I'll talk about fear. With your permission, Swami.
actually, I should then ask you to talk on the word which I learned from this.
Swamiji, yeah, this is my first time that I started.
That is third level of public speaking. Okay, simple. Talk on time.
Okay.
Time starts now.
time has started now, and time is a very important aspect. With time, we can associate punctuality. See, as we generally, on a general note, Indians, we have this known as Indian Standard Time, which is always, when a time is given, it's always about 15 minutes, half an hour, it's later than, which I think we should change our mindset from that. And see, I'm working, and whenever the meetings are there with, foreign countries, they are very punctual on their time. When they say 10 o'clock, they start dot at 10. But whereas we Indians say, oh, 10 o'clock, fine, we are just leaving home at 10 o'clock, and then reaching at 11, and so it takes its own time. I think.
Okay, well done. Your topic is steadfast.
Steadfast.
What do we mean by being steadfast? I feel that when we define what we're talking about, it helps us to elaborate on that point. So being steadfast, according to me, is being regular, being doing things consistently. And so what helps us being steadfast? What do we need in our lives to be steadfast? We can be steadfast about things if we are fully convinced about them. It makes it easier to follow. So if we are told to do something, or if I decide to do something, I can only be steadfast in it if I am convinced about the purpose behind that. An example could be a simple thing like doing my prayers or doing my japa every day. Till I reach the point of realizing and being convinced about the purpose of doing it, that is when I will be able to develop steadfastness in that, in what I do. So,
Perfect. Whatever topic you like.
Swamiji, actually speaking, I didn't even remember any of the words the lady said also, and he also said. But just a couple of words, if you can check that. Is faith in there?
Yeah.
So I thought a little bit about faith, and what we think about faith when we talk about faith generally is, I believe, religion. And in my opinion, that is not the fact. Religion is just a way people blindly follow in certain footsteps or whatever teachings which are there. To me, faith means many more things. Now, if I can just talk about a few examples, I start with a more serious one. I was in Pune yesterday and my dad was not there. He had to be admitted to hospital. Yesterday night I was with him, but all these 48 years of my life, I've been doing a lot of work and I've been doing pretty well in life. I just thought when I joined this course, Chinmaya Mission is something which I worked for actually in Powai for 2 years. I'm a civil engineer, so I did a building for them there, Chinmaya Vihar. So I've been close to the people there. Just thought, let me do something. So my faith in this Chinmaya Mission concept was eventually what got me here today morning. I just requested my wife to attend with my father, and I came here. That's why I was a little bit late and lots of calls coming in. But it is just that faith that I need to actually have and do something which my heart wants to follow now. Other concepts of faith which I can think about are like, you should have faith in your people with whom you are working, your people with whom you meet up from time to time, your fellow human beings. There's a lot of negativity where it goes to when you interact with people, you don't seem to trust them. You always feel that this guy is going to make a fool out of me, or that's where also I believe faith comes in. You should have some faith in people, in mankind, your own people,
So basically, this is what I feel about faith. It's just not religious faith all the time.
Your topic is intentional.
Hari Om. I had actually thought forgive, but Swamiji has given me intentional. Intent, the basic nature of each individual. I mean, their actions, their words come out from what they think. Or that is the intention that goes on in their mind. And that's how it's expressed as words or actions. And right from childhood, we teach our children to be very calm and kind. That's how they grow. Probably they have these ideas in them when they start thinking, and that's how it becomes. When we do something, it is intentional that they want to be good or they want to be bad. But intent is a very, very important aspect as we grow, right from childhood, as we grow old, even till our death probably. Intentionally, we should be firm in doing good alone. And even when there are so many ways or so many things that come up in life which make us think the other way, we still have to be intentionally good and kind in every aspect of life.
Restore.
Restore. Restore can be to put something back. Restore can be to repair something. So depending on the perspective, one can use the word restore. We can restore faith in somebody. We can restore their confidence. How would you go about doing these things? So you can restore something only if you believe and you are convinced about it. If I am convinced that faith in the higher is important and will take one through, I can work on restoring someone else's faith. But unless I am convinced, that restoration will not happen. Coming to the repair part of it, somebody's confidence is broken. Again, if I am convinced that the person has the capability to they can build their confidence up, you work on propping the person up and building his confidence up.
Your topic is.
Yes,
Your topic is.
So what do you linger on every day? There are different things, right? So you linger on certain thoughts, or you linger on your hobby, or when at work you linger on something at work. So if you see in totality in life, if you see from your birth to death, is there something which is common that you linger on? Is that the purpose that you want to bring to your life? Ideally, if I talk about myself, I would keep a higher vision of God or oneness that we spoke about today. I would love that becomes a point that I linger on all the time, every moment, every minute. That's the effort, continuous effort that I would like to put in my life, and ultimately see myself as, yes, I linger upon that every minute, every moment. So, thank you.
Okay, so one big round of applause for all of you.
You are still there. Very good. Whichever topic you want to talk.
there's one thing which helps all of us to come closer in our relationship with others. What is that?
Love. Trust.
Yeah. And also listening. So one of the mantras is listen, come closer. That applies to me for myself, because very often the thoughts just flow and create a mess in terms of actions. And before that happens, if I tune in and listen to my thoughts, I can save myself a lot from the turbulent emotions and unnecessary actions. So I have been practicing this, and I find it very, very useful when I am listening to others. In fact, this is the main ingredient of my profession as well. I'm a counselor, and listening is all I do. And listening means not just hearing, listening means understanding, empathizing, actually putting yourself in the place of another person, fully tuning in and hearing, understanding, appreciating, accepting what the person is saying, not making him out as good or bad, right or wrong, no judgmental. If you actually can do that for a few minutes every day, to whoever comes in your pathway of life, that is the best gift I think we can give to people.
Okay, so all of you could all speak without any fear. So I don't think you have public speaking as a fear. So we are very happy that each of you are very good potential trainers, and definitely you can go and make a lot of difference. So a few points which you think, what did you feel when you spoke? Before you spoke, during you spoke, after you spoke? Anybody wants to share?
Before I spoke, I thought I would not be able to even stand up and make a single word. I wouldn't be able to utter a single word. And when I stood up, it just went off and it started growing. Of course, the hiccups were there. I did get stuck up in between, but it passed through. And now the feeling is, yes, I can do it.
Very good. One round of applause. Anyone else?
I had actually prepared something else and then
Spoke something else.
You have to organize your thoughts, sequence, and how to present it, like the starting of the subject and then the closing.
So that also happens. So there are some people who can stick to that, to what they organize, and they will deliver that, and they are actually tuned up to only that method. So suddenly when they have to talk, everything goes haywire. And there are some people who will prepare everything, but when they come on the spot, either it becomes blank or some other thought only takes over. You were saying
No,
something.
I was saying that preparation is important, but it should be so rigid that you can't, something which is connecting or coming out, you should be, but it should be within that.
Right.
You have to keep a track of time.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the
Right.
sense of what you're saying is left out, and you just go on with the introduction.
I think when we speak, we should take a moment. It's all right not to be speaking fluently and in a hurry, but we can take a pause while we are and collect your thoughts and deliver them correctly.
Something this happens to me every time. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know again. See, what happens with me is talking is not an issue for me. I can talk. But then when it's prepared, and it's like, okay, I try and somehow stick to the points that I want to talk about. But then in the process of talking, suddenly this fear grips me in, and then just for a moment or something I shiver or I kind of forget things. It's not that I'm not confident, but it just comes in all of a sudden. Not realizing it, or it just comes in. So I really don't know how to deal with it. You know, and then suddenly sometimes I have to really stop myself, consciously tell myself, no, shut up, let me just speak. And then kind of it goes away. It's just that momentary thing which comes in. Then I really don't know how to deal with it.
One has to analyze what is the fear that comes, what is the fear that grips, because there is no generic general solution that can be given. What is that fear that grips? That maybe the other person is judging me, or maybe I am not delivering properly, or what is the cause of that, and that has to be sorted out. That's what I think, because otherwise, if I can only tell myself, don't, that is the way to just pull myself out. But if it's something is recurring, I need to know the cause for that. Then get the solution based on that.
Yeah. I feel unpreparedness about the subject is what many times causes it.
She is saying preparation she may have done also.
No, I didn't.
The expectation about yourself. I'm supposed to give the best speech.
Anxiety.
It's not required.
Performance
You
anxiety.
just speak what you want to talk.
So I feel that making it interesting and relevant is very important. So asking a question or telling a story which everybody can relate to. If you start with that, then everybody gets glued to what you're talking. If it is a general talk, then eventually people will stop listening.
So how to do public speaking, we will see. At the moment, what I want you to do is share your feeling. What we spoke before, during, after the speech. Is there anything specific that you want to tell us?
I experienced two challenges today. One was that whilst I wanted to think about my topic, my focus was to bring my mind again and again to listening what everybody is saying. So I did not go and think about the topic. But mind kept going there. And the second was to put it all in 1 minute.
Time is a constraint.
There is one more thing that when I'm talking, there are many, when you know more, there are many thoughts that keep interfering with. So like you said, the audience will be different every time. So what to do at such times?
So know very clearly, for this audience, I'm going to say these 3 points. Let's stick to that.
1 minute is quite long.
I gave you only 1 minute.
I know, but
Sorry, I'm giving 4 hours.
1 minute was like close. And the 1 minute is fine.
Hands and feet were feeling colder. And this during even before.
There's always an anxiety which is subconscious, which you think whether what you're going to say is actually right or not. Especially when you're thrown with when you're not prepared. No, when you're not, like when you do a word, and I mean, you know the word, but to be able to talk about it.
Put it across a lot.
There is a subconscious feeling that I got, but then once, that's why I said if you pause and collect a few thoughts, then it is easier.
Before we talk, our mind is racing, and once we're talking, we're just segregating things to talk. And after we're done, like a balloon bursts, our mind is
And then it's also a challenge if your voice is not good or your health is. That's also something which you feel that whether I'll be able to make it.
Right. So now we will go into a little more formal type of a learning. There are different aspects to learn, and as we see those points, we will see from our public speaking how those connect. These are some of the things that are very important. We have just put down a few, there could be many more also. So first of all, why public speaking tips? Because as we said earlier, it is the number 1 fear in the world. Sorry, number 1 fear in the world is death, then is public speaking, and third, can you guess? Don't see here.
Feeling of rejection.
Snakes. Different people do different research, that's why they get different PhDs. So this is one of the research done. Is the number of the third snakes is the third largest fear that people have in the world. So if you had to point one factor to overcome public speaking fear, what would that be? Just one factor.
I think practice.
Practice. Research your background. Prepare.
But that's what I'm asking, why should it not be fear?
Treat
Know what you're talking.
Connect. Know that the other person is responsible.
But I can connect and then talk anything.
Know your subject.
Very important first aspect is prepare. If we do not prepare, we can manage to talk, but that is not called public speaking. Public speaking is when I am able to communicate what is needed to be communicated to the public. It is not speaking in front of public anything. The purpose behind that must be to get clearly to communicate to the public. And public must not be confused about what we said. From our side, we have to put that effort. If they are confused, then later, then whatever interaction happens in that, it can be clarified. And that will come when preparation is done first. Fear comes for many reasons. It may be anxiety and the way people perceive me and all that. But the most fundamental reason is, if I am not prepared, then I am always having the fear of whether I am saying the right thing or not, as she said, or whether I am, saying it in the right way or not. Or even if I am saying the right thing in the right way, whether public is perceiving me in the right way or not. Many such fears can arise. So first step is prepare. Proper preparation prevents presentation predicaments. So first thing is one has to prepare properly. Thorough preparation, which includes the predicaments in the sense that where we do not have, as I said, you may not have a facility of a PowerPoint. Then what to do? I should be very clear. Suppose there is PowerPoint facility and current goes. What will you do? Then you are stuck. And your battery also goes. Finished. Then you are completely out. And there is an audience sitting in front of you, 200 children. Now what to do?
Your handout. No, that's why you have a handout. You know it.
Yeah, always you must have
It's
this.
pitch dark, 8 o'clock in the night, we're doing training to 60 students. And lights go off and children took out their cell phones, and I sort of everyone's behaving out, having their whatever, chill out time. And then you just talk.
Yeah.
You have to know your work. You know it.
So preparation is the most important aspect. Do not compromise anything on the preparation. Never. Especially for the content that we are talking is not objective content. It is a subjective content. And so for that the preparation must be very thorough and important. So the first step is one must know one's own concept. If I don't know, then I can't speak. So as TITI trainers now coming to specific of that aspect, what is the preparation that I have to do? First, as I had said, we have to read the book. How many of you read the book? Full. I had said in the first class that by today, you should have finished the whole book. How many days? No, when I said training, as a trainer.
I did on the first day full book. I don't remember.
Not done. As a trainer, we must read the book. Even if I say I am going to talk only on 2 levels of transformation, you are representing the movement. If somebody asks you, okay, what is there in this physical transformation? Sorry, I don't know, I didn't prepare. I am only emotional trainer. You ask somebody else. It will not look good now because they don't know that you are prepared only for 1 or 2. They may just come and say, can you tell us, because they may be inspired by your speech saying, okay, this is so good, then let us try other levels. And then they come and ask. Then gone. So one is that please read the book and do not think that the PPT which is shown is the ultimate thing. That is like a small dose of what is there in the book. And there may be people who read, especially if you go to some other corporates or some other places, there are people who read. And then they'll ask you, but this is written in this now. then one should not be surprised. So very, very, very crucial is please read the book. Second, understand the vision, that what is the vision of this whole thing. We will do that in detail a little more later, so I will not elaborate that. Know your content. One is the general idea of the book. Second is what is covered in the TITI book about your module. And third is what is there in the PPT. So know your content very well. And write write notes on what you understand as the crux of your talk. Here though we have made it easy to say, okay, that acronyms are there, but many places we may not have those. Suppose you have to talk on something very different. Then how to talk? Make notes. These are 6 points that I want to cover. That's it. Then one knows this is what I want to cover. Then extra examples and whatever to support one can give videos and all that. And discuss the topic. That helps. It is said learning happens in 4 stages. Only first 25% happens with the teacher or formal learning. Next 25% happens by your reflection. Third will happen by group discussion. Because certain perspective we are not able to think, somebody else thinks from that standpoint. And fourth, by time and our experiences. So that's how learning becomes complete. So discussing also brings out not only other angles, but also discussing helps me to improve my expression. When we start talking, then we understand how much we actually know. Many times we are under an illusion that I know. But when we start talking, especially Vedanta, that happens. But in the class one listens, one thinks, yeah, I know this. But then when one has to actually talk on that, then suddenly one wonders, did I even know properly? So discussing and talking definitely helps. So that is step number 1, to know the concept. Number 2 is one must carry the kit. So that you see, if the kit is there with us, we do not miss out anything, and we are not hurrying every time to keep gathering so many things and then go and do a talk. The standard kit must be there with us. What are the things in that? So know what all you will need to carry, the books and the brochure and the souvenir and the laptop and visiting card and camera or whatever that is. You can note down some of these, and some of this will be given as a printout also about the process that a trainer has to follow. So the kit, if you have ready, like Gurudev used to have a yajna box, early days, because that time mission was not formed as an organization and structures were not there, buildings were not there, place is not there to store, and he goes from one place to another. And people there don't know. Communication on phone, email, all that was not there. So how to tell those people? You send a post, it will reach them in 5 days, 6 days. So he had made a whole yajna box. It had everything that is required for the yajna. So there will be a picture of Tapol Maharaj and Gita and that Krishna and Gita chariot, and there will be the BMI chart, there will be lamp, there will be oil, wick, matchstick, cloth to cover his chair, cloth to cover the altar, prasad pustikas, everything. There's one whole trunk, pointer, glass, water, lid, full. So he goes there, 1 or 2 bags will be his bags and 1 trunk or 2 trunks will be the yajna box. From, let us say, Pune, he goes to Chennai. He gives it there, now you make everything. They don't have to bother. Finish it, pack it up, put it inside, he goes to the next place. He literally lived like that for a few years. And that also showed to the organizers that how meticulous one has to be. This is divine work and you cannot be lethargic in that. So he would carry everything. So organizers know. In one place, much later, this was in like 1980s, last few years of his life. In Coimbatore, he was training, he was doing a Gita Gyan Yajna. And the tradition is on the second last day, you give the GD envelope. So that Gurudev will explain the whole GD envelope. And then next day, last day, people will come and offer the Guru Dakshina. So he finished the talk that day, second last day, and then he took up the GD envelope to talk. When he was talking on it, suddenly he realized that GD envelope was not given. The audience was blank. Because he is explaining membership, Tapon Prasad, Balvihar, Ghosh, everything. So he kept it down. And then he said there will not be any GD taken. That was a lesson for the organizers. Because for 6 days he has slogged it out. And those days money was not at all easy to come. Even today it is not easy to come, but those days he was one person and not too many acharyas were there. He said, I will not take the GD. Why did you not give this GD envelope? And he did not take. And that was a big lesson for the organizers. They felt so bad. He did not do it to make them feel bad, but he said, why did you become lethargic? It is such a simple thing, and they are the organizers who have been doing it for years. So that level of meticulousness he used to follow, and we represent that kind of an organization. Maintain a presentation kit which you pack and keep always. Don't start packing previous night. Yeah, is what I said. Otherwise, previous night we are hurrying around. This, that. A trainer should not be doing all that. So plan a bit. Keep a kit. In each slide you will find nice slogan written down. Third step, define your goal. That what do you want to achieve through this talk? That is very crucial in the way we deliver the talk. Some places you will find that the audience is absolutely, faithful, or they are good listeners. Some places you will find them absolutely restless, not even wanting to listen. What is my objective? I should know that very clearly. That for this audience, my objective is to sow the seeds. For this audience, it is to take them deeper. For this audience who is very intellectual, it is to make them understand the purpose of, let us say, have a higher vision about our culture if you are doing cultural transformation. So vision must be very clear to us. What do I want to achieve through this particular talk? Let us say in a school I go and I am doing 7 levels of transformation for one audience. My purpose should not be finish 7 levels and just come back. That is only the initial step. Purpose must be, can I connect to them whereby they understand this clearly and they become a part of the movement. Where they say, yes, I feel this for my country, I also want to contribute. Then that becomes the vision, that the whole orientation will happen that way, the talk will happen that way. What is the audience take home you are looking at? Many places we give the handouts. Like today we gave that bookmark. Now that's the audience take home also, which they can practically implement. For every talk, here though we have done in many places, but you can still think, let us say on the emotional or cultural transformation part. What all can actually be done so that it becomes more and more easy for the audience to take home. And keeping that take home in mind, then we deliver. Okay, we want audience to take home these 3 points. That's why we put the acronyms. So they take home that, and if they have done some activity, they have some points. So what is the take home that they have? These are subtler take homes. Pride for India, transforming lives. Some places they want to make monetary profits. If they want us to talk on certain aspects, then it is to make monetary profits or improve their productivity, efficiency, all that. So they may call for different reasons, and we should be clear about that. Strengthen your inspiration, motivate people to join your organization, transform the nation, or network with a new set of people. Impress the audience and be a famous speaker. Your intention will design your presentation. This is in general also. Here too we already have the presentation. And there are many people who go by the last one. Impress the audience and become a very good speaker. Popularity is something that drives a lot of people. But vision must always precede popularity. Who are we to become popular for what? We are here to communicate the knowledge as instruments. That's it. Attention should not be on me. Attention should be on the content, the vision, the movement. That is very, very important. So define your goal and be very clear and honest about it. Know the rules. Now coming to what to say and what not to say. Foul language, strictly prohibited. Many people do it to connect to the audience, especially with younger crowd. So either they use foul language or they even use slang. It is not cool. On the stage, no slang. Even off the stage should not be there, but no slang words, no foul language. Can you give me examples of slang? Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What else? Dude. Mom, dad is still okay because people nowadays don't call mommy and papa. If you say mommy and papa, they will show you milk bottle. Today people use majority mom and dad only. We used to say mommy and papa, even now we say. Huh? Chill. Now they have a new word now, chillax.
Relax.
These are still okay slangs. I'm not saying they are okay to say, but there are other slangs which people use. Can you think any of them? It's good, you don't know, why should I put in your head? Huh?
Don't put it in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, that word will only come.
Yeah.
That will only remain there. No, we're not supposed to say these.
I think one word which mostly everybody seems to use is oh shit.
That's horrible. Oh shit. Gosh. Oh gosh. All that keeps coming again and again. So I'm not good on that. Words have a lot of
One
impact on
thing
the
that
mind.
is funny, when you start speaking publicly often, then it changes you even
General
off
talking,
stage. Yeah, because then you have to, it changes you.
It has to, because you cannot be one person on the stage and something else down.
When you are off stage.
That one should integrate the personality. That's when teaching is a sadhana. Otherwise it is one thing on stage, one thing off the stage.
Carry that
The golden rule that we follow in our team is anything you speak, you have to practice in your life, otherwise you can't speak it. Like when we tell you about traffic rules, the general way of life. So now think of us are like so particular about everything. Because that's one vow we got, our team.
Very nice. Yeah.
Well, I want to share something. Last year Akshata had taught me to talk on physical transformation. And frankly, I was, due to medical reasons or whatever, I was 10 kilos more than I am today. And I said I cannot talk on it, cannot take that subject because I am not practicing it myself. So how am I going to convince somebody else about it? So that was really something that I said, unless I do it, I will not talk about physical transformation. And the rest of it comes once that body is fit. Then only the mind and the intellect will become fit.
Remember, everyone hates liars. This we say because to get popularity, some people just say anything, which is not a fact. One should never do that. If you, especially if you talk about any of the research or any statistics, very important to know the fact and then only say, not say it just randomly. Yeah, no exaggeration. Very important this is use we than I or you. The moment we say you, it means that it becomes preachy. It becomes that, okay, you need to do this. So it has to be more of we. This has to come very consciously because generally we are used to you. Even sometimes we use that, it comes in our language also, but one has to use we. Be very polite. This is little difficult, especially when people sometimes don't understand and they keep on asking the same question. Or at the end of 1.5 hours, you have got exhausted and then somebody is going on and on and on with something. One still needs to be polite. Because that is our sadhana and that is why we represent the organization. Say only what you believe. in this whole PPT and everything what you have learned so far, if there is something that you do not believe, then get that clarity, that why this is said there, and make it your belief. Then the next step will be to put into practice. In our PPTs, it may not be possible to practice everything and wait for practicing everything then to talk. The talking itself is a form of reinforcement in us so that it will come into our life. So that must go hand in hand. So say only what you believe. Don't ever say something just to impress people that we just spoke about. Don't say anything controversial or comment on political or other issues, even if you know. Let us keep politics out of this. This will especially apply when we talk about that secularism aspect in cultural transformation. For our training, we have done certain things, but we have avoided political parties' names. I don't think even when I spoke on that here, I used any political party's name. We need to be apolitical, but communicate the concept. Saying if this is secularism, government must be about religion, and religion is not something which is to be used for, getting votes or doing any type of discrimination. It is a choice. So many people say, religion is a matter of personal faith. Then leave it at the personal level. Now, why are you using it at the collective level? Whoever wants to follow whichever they will follow. So we will explain the concept that secularism means let all the religions thrive, and it means no specific religion is encouraged and no specific religion is condemned. You leave religion out of politics. That is simple. Now we don't use there any other political statements, because today it is very, very important when we understand that yes, there is a freedom of speech, but at the same time, if anybody's sentiments are hurt, they put a case against you. You are finished. And then the organization also comes under trouble. And they call it as hate speech. So many of these in this election campaign you must have seen. Again, so many people there, different groups have put up this. So let us avoid. See, when Gurudev used to talk, he clearly used to say certain things in his talk. But the situation of the media, the situation at that time was very different. And we can't say that, Gurudev spoke, so I am also going to speak. No. And from what level he spoke and for the tapas that was behind him, that was very, very different altogether. So this is very crucial. Political things should be avoided. Use proactive, not preachy language. That's where the we aspect comes, and it should not be that do this, do that. We say we should all strive to do this. It would be nice if we can do this. Speak what you have prepared, don't try last minute modification. This is important. If concept is clear to you, then little bit of innovation on the spot, if you see as the need of audience, that's a different thing. But absolutely new, random thing, we don't need to try. What is prepared, speak that. Ensure you don't waste the time of your audience. Yeah. This is important because sometimes people keep repeating the same thing for a longer time. That is not required. We convey the point as effectively as possible because time is precious. Here we have done every workshop for 1.5 hours. Many places you will not get 1.5 hours. You may get 45 minutes. Sometimes you may get only 1 hour. So then we have to know, okay, this points we will skip. These are the only things we will talk. That's the preparation one has to do earlier. So if you are using PowerPoint, then there is a feature called hide slide. Don't delete it. Just hide that slide so that you don't use, and that PowerPoint comes down to whatever, 45 minutes or something. Say what is relevant and make sure you convey the main point in the first 10 minutes. First 10 minutes, actually it is 6 minutes. First 6 minutes, I must be able to connect to the audience. Main point here means not that I should say the whole main point in the first 6 minutes, but the point is establish that connect, that the grip is there. That grip must not be lost. Now comes the body language part. Very crucial. first thing is how do I stand? And obviously 2 legs, nobody is telling you to stand like this. It has to be simple. Weight distributed evenly on both the legs. Stand straight. Hold the mic this way. Head, neck, spine, body, one line. No slouching, no bending, no going back. Straight posture is very, very important. Especially where we don't have, where we have longer time to talk. It will help the body also. Where there is too much of strain on the body. And definitely don't keep moving. So many people keep doing that. And public is going to only see, acha, abhi is tarah, abhi is tarah. They will also start doing like that. If they want to make you feel embarrassed. And there are some people who keep on walking and talking and they think it's very interactive. But that's absolutely distracting. Because when you do this, what happens? Everybody is trying to follow you, what you are doing, rather than listening to the words. So even if we do a session like this, ideally the speaker stays in one place and not keep on moving round. And again it distracts the audience because they are trying to do an eye contact with you. So they will turn all the way where you are going, what you are doing, everything. So it's very distractful as a person who is in the audience. So body language wise, a few aspects here. Stand like a celebrity. Meaning show confidence. How a celebrity stands, how they feel the presence of themselves. And you feel, wow. It's the Western model of public speaking. They will say this. And think of your favorite actor, leader, visualize him or her standing and try to stand like that. There is no special posture which I recommend. There are actors who may have the special trademark postures. Shah Rukh Khan may do like that. You have to do like that. He is your favorite actor.
This doesn't actually work.
Yeah.
It feels so artificial.
That's what I'm saying. This is a Western model. This won't work. Point very simply, just stand. Be yourself and just stand confident. That's all. If you are tired, sit and talk. Yeah. So this seating arrangement is crucial. Always be very clear with the audience that if you are sitting, you must be able to see the last person. Very important. If you have to ask the organizer, because they will not know all this. When we go to the school, we have to find out from them, is there a stage? Will we be standing on the stage and talking? And if it is on the same level, how do we connect? Are the students sitting on the ground or on the chair? All those things we have to do. Because typically it happens that organizers are not thinking from that standpoint. Like I give you a simple example, is IMC which is there. They have a very small raised platform, it's only this much. And many times the organizers don't worry about that. They just put a chair. They think that it's very good, one chair is put and one nice comfortable chair will be there, push back and whatever. And then the seating is there for the audience. Now if the speaker sits, he can't see except first 4-5 rows. So then one has to create a raised platform and then let the speaker sit, or the speaker has to stand on the podium and talk. This we realized once or twice when I went there also, because once Swarupananji had to talk there and it totally slipped our mind. We put a chair there and then Swamiji came, and as it is he is little short. So when he came there, he said, I can't see the audience. So he stood and gave the whole 1.5 hour talk. So one has to take care about the seating. If one is tired, sit and talk and be able to connect to the last person. And do not fiddle. Some people have the habit to keep on doing something. Or they keep plucking their name. Or something they will do if the stand is there and the mic is there. No fiddling at all. Don't be shaky, that I told you. Don't keep on moving. Decide what to do with your hands. And definitely don't put in the pocket and talk. That shows absolute casual attitude, and sometimes it is fear. I don't know what to do with my hand, just lock it in the pocket. So if you are holding the mic, of course one hand you are holding the mic, one hand you are using gestures. If the both hands are free and your mic is in the stand, simplest they always teach in public speaking is this or this. This is a very good position to have in the hands, because when we hold it in this way, you can always use and again come back, use and again come back. If one is standing like this, then one doesn't know how to use the hand sometimes, or one is trying to fiddle with the hand or put it at the back. So if that is not comfortable, just normal standing, then hold the hand like this. But nothing wrong in standing normally also and then just delivering, and in the flow of talk, naturally the hand movement will happen. One doesn't have to worry about that, but one should be very clear what to do with the hand, because for some people it is a matter of tension. They don't know only what to do with the hand. Then all their confidence goes. Have plenty of eye contact with everybody, at least once in the talk. And the tendency in us as a speaker is always this. When somebody is giving us positive response, we stuck to that person, because we want confidence to keep on seeing that person. Who bothers about the other people? A good speaker will connect to the whole audience. Front, back, middle. So the eye must go properly. So have plenty of eye contact, and definitely do not look at the ceiling or something on the sides and the wall and the down and all that and talk. And not only everybody will look, the point is not going to get communicated then. Then it is, people know you are scared then. And do not gaze, that's what. Don't stare at one person or don't stare at the audience. Smile a lot. This is a very good thing to begin the speech. Before you even say anything, you just give a nice smile. It doesn't cost anything. It will make you also relaxed, make people also relaxed. Then start. Gadgets. Please master the gadgets. People are not really inspired by people who don't understand their own machines. Yeah. What is master the microphone? One should know how to use the microphone. This distance you keep the mic. And the mouth and the mic, there has to be at least this 3 finger distance. Minimum, that's it. 3 is enough. So if you do this much, you see the voice quality won't be good. You can't hear much. This is 3 is good, so that you don't strain as a speaker. Otherwise it's too far. One has to strain. Subconsciously then one strains. And some people hold it so close, then the words get jumbled. So 3 fingers is a good, is normal distance. Now this mic is called as a unidirectional mic. This. Especially when you have a sponge on it. When sponge is not there, it is very sensitive. On all the sides it will pick up. But when a sponge is put, it will pick up only straight. You be careful with that. You have to just know that much. Better is the one with the sponge when you are having it in front of you and when you speak. Why? Because the side, some places that like the fan is working. So the air and all that which comes from the side also muffles the sound. Then it will only, that much will get reduced, only it will catch from the straight, from what is coming out directly. And only this much air will affect it. So one is that the microphone must be below, at the level of below the lips, so that the voice hits the center of the mic. 3 finger distance. If you are not comfortable like this with a wire and all that, or you find it difficult to hold for 1.5 hours, hand is paining or whatever it is, tell them to give a stand. Put a stand and then talk. And typically it is very important not to move. If you are moving, then better use it without the stand. Because many people they hold the mic in a wrong way. That's why they have a lot of problem. Either they will hold far or they are not conscious. So they hold the mic and they keep talking. Arey, but why is the mic here? One or two of you were doing that here. The mic was here. Here because it's a small audience, it is fine. But otherwise it is not appropriate because people can't hear properly. So don't move so much, and sometimes they keep the mic on the stand and they keep moving. So what do you think? Arey, but why are you moving? We can't hear you. So that's why it is important to just stand. So one is master your microphone. Microphone, second aspect is please put it on. Always check before you open the mouth. Don't start saying hello, hello, hello. That is very... So first thing to do is, that's it. You hear it, done. Otherwise see whether they have a button. Sometimes there are no buttons. Just a mic without a button. Control will be there straight away. And you find out whoever is there, tell them to put the volume on. Third important aspect about a microphone is the speaker should not be directly facing the mic. It should be turned at an angle. Because many times the, what sound it is called?
Echo will come.
No, not only echo, there is one sound will come. That's because of that. Sometimes it is the volume is too high or the speaker is directly facing it. It has to be at an angle. And especially even the distance matters. If it is very close, it's here, then again it will matter. Speaker must be turned away. So there are two types of speakers. One is the speakers which the audience listens, which is turned away from the mic. Another is called as a feedback speaker, for us to know what is the sound quality. This I am telling you so that you are aware, not everywhere you will have feedback speaker and all that. Sometimes the mic is here and the speakers are there in the auditorium and they don't have any feedback speaker. There one has to listen to that voice quality and understand, okay, this is what I am hearing, then much more is getting amplified because I am standing behind the speaker. So third is the distance. Fourth is this point. This. Many times this connection is loose. So you have to just check. Sometimes if this is loose and the sound is not coming, they may have put it on there. So this is one aspect. Those things the person will control there. Whoever is the sound system in charge there. There's a jack which goes inside and then the volume is there. So that is simple about mastering the microphone. Turn it on before you start speaking, reach early, check the mic, turn it off while moving and shifting, turn it off at the end. Yeah, very important to turn it off at the end. Have you tried the projector? This is, many times you go there and then you land up saying, "Arey, ye bulb kaun kha gaya?" Or this is not working. Sometimes it happens that between the computer and the projector, compatibility is not there. Or sometimes it happens that first time if you are trying a projector, one should know how to put the display from the computer on the projector. So in some laptops you will have a shift function F4 or something like that. F6, F4, that depends on laptop models. So that is called duplicating the screen. Like in a Mac, we have it here. So we have this system, then displays, and then arrangement, and you have mirror display. So if mirror display is there, whatever is being shown on the desktop will get projected onto the screen. If mirror display I don't click, gone. Now this is showing something else, but this will be like a blank screen, that's it. Then wonders, "Arey, yahan dikh raha hai, wahan kyun nahi dikh raha?" So mirror display in your laptops, they may have some different options. One must find those things out. So try the projector. Have backup drives of your presentation. Always carry 2. Suddenly one file gets corrupt. Convey your requirements such as sound cable, etc. in advance. Now this is called as a, there is, if you need audio. Now here we are using HDMI cable. So that HDMI cable will transfer both audio and video to the TV. Some places we don't have that. So the projector is being connected. There is a cable for the projector and then the separate sound wire. That sound wire, that sound side goes into the headphone jack this side and the other side goes into the amplifier. Majority of the institutions do not have that.
Oh, it's very bad.
Horrible.
Or every handed
So better we carry it with ourselves. Always. It's easier to carry, and even if they have sometimes, 2 important things in wires are, one is if you need to operate the laptop, please carry a longer wire. The mission has that. That is a 10-meter wire, so that even if the projector is kept far away, you will have the control of the laptop with you. So the wire which will go from the projector to the from the computer to the projector, the distance needs to be long. So that 10-meter wire we have, another 30-meter wire also we have. So you can ask for that if you know very clearly that the distance is long. And don't go by the college or the institution. If they say, yeah, we have all facilities, that means nothing. That absolutely means nothing, because they think that what facilities they are required they have, but many times they don't know. Simple things they don't know. Audio wire, and they will put a speaker. You will be amazed to think like that. Even in today's Jamana they do like that. They will have a laptop, they will put a speaker, they will say mic. That is so horrible because the sound will not go properly into the amplifier. So we need a wire which goes from this to the computer, to the amplifier, and that has to be long. Both should be long. They should not be small wires. Turn on your laptop previous night and check for everything is okay. Have a clutter-free desktop. Again important. How many times we see that, my God, the desktop will have some 40-50 files. It will all show on that. And you have to look through all that, and then people also start reading all those file names. They are very curious. Yeah. Ideal is to have a desktop which is the TITI logo. And just that one folder in which you have that PPT and the videos. That's it. Nothing else should be there. Or have a very generic clean desktop, like here we have that wave of the ocean. That's it. There's nothing more than that. Don't use a new or unknown gadget. Most of it, if it is a recorder or a video camera or a handy cam, whichever it is, one must know it. Now coming to preparing the content, what is the central idea of the talk? One must be very clear about that, because especially when time is less, we are not there to entertain anybody. We are there to give knowledge in a interesting way, that is all. So if I have only, like I say, 30 minutes, what is the main thing that I want to convey, that I should finish conveying. So write that 5-point summary of your topic. That okay, this is my presentation, I will use these 5 points, this much time I have. That will make very clear to us that this is what exactly needs to be communicated. The rest of it are only details. Give your talk a structure. For example, introduction, main points, explanation, and what are the practical to-do tips. That makes it very organized even for the audience. Okay, this is what I learned, this is what I am going to carry home. We have actually structured our PPTs like that. Because if you see at the end of everything, you will get the summary of each acronym, each alphabet. To-do tips, you can make them Repeat also. So what are the two take home you will do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. That's the reinforcement. Step 2, okay. Yeah, you can give conclusion also. Step 3 is always start with a spark. Now some options are given here. One is an ice-breaking activity, so that many times what happens is people go from one class to other or from one work to other and they are very mentally already tired, and then we are going to tell them something like Arvind had that one activity in that intellectual session. So it makes you think and a little light and little humor is there. So you can start with some activity or any ice-breaking. Patriotic transformation, we had a quiz. Surprising statistics or facts, we have put that on our brochure. Even he started today with that garbage thing in that universally one. How much garbage? My God, how much is it? 7,000 tons. Ridiculous amount of garbage. That is one city. You calculate at India level, world level, oh God. After a few decades, I think they will require a separate planet to dump garbage only.
No, actually, we can come in September. What they are recycling all the waste so that it doesn't go out of the city. Basically,
that I know, but they are supposed to do that. But a lot of people don't.
Use it as a fuel or replenish it. Use it within the city, or should not be going out of the city or dump yard or something.
Right. A rhetorical question or a quotation or some joke or a humor. So different ways to begin. You can come up with many other things also. And also end with an edge. So what are the conclusion options? Summarize your talk, or end with a powerful quote, or challenge to the audience. Give a list of application points. Simple ways to end the talk. Or show a nice video and end it. Now the fear aspect, to handle that, emotionally one has to be prepared, because well, let us know that nobody dies of stage fright. Okay? Be fearless. It's not to be arrogantly, I am the fearless, I will say what I want to say, audience has to suffer, it doesn't matter. That sometimes Gurudev would joke to just tell somebody who is underconfident, why are you worried? It's their parabda that they have to listen to you. But that's not for us to take that attitude. It's simple. Let there not be fear. Maximum what will happen? I may not be able to explain everything as effectively. Concentrate on the message, not on the audience. If the fear is there, concentrate on the message. Otherwise, connect to the audience and keep doing. Visualize yourself giving a great talk and inspiring thousands. This visualization works. Fear is there. Visualize that you are doing it very well and the audience is receiving it very nicely, and that has to go over and over again. Especially how you will convey what point, how much time it takes, and how you are delivering it, and how people are inspired. That whole visualization is a very powerful exercise. This one, some movie which came now. One movie was there, Ashiki number 2. Yeah. Yeah, in that movie there is one nice scene there.
Yes, in that
He takes that girl because she wants, both are singers actually, but then this girl is a singer who is very talented and she has not got opportunity, and this boy, he says, you know, you will be there one day here and the whole audience will be there and you will be singing, and you know, I can see that they are appreciating you, and he has that, he motivates her in that way. So that's a nice powerful way to inspire oneself, that yes, the whole audience is there, I am able to do this and I am able to inspire. So that confidence, which is, suppose if it is lacking, it will come back. Know that your audience wants you to succeed. Even if they are trying to pull your leg, maybe sometimes they just do. But at the end of it, they are putting their time. Who is going to be unsuccessful? It is only them. If you are not, if they are not allowing you to deliver, it's because they don't want. Otherwise, other people, everybody who is sitting there, they would want to learn something. Unless they are forced to sit there, then they want to prove themselves smart. And we should know that in schools many times that happens. So sometimes you have to be very, what is the exact word? Very spontaneous, very creative. In one place, an acharya went to give a talk. The students were forced to sit there. And the person introduced that acharya. And everybody is clapping, 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 clapping. 5 full minutes they went on clapping. They did not stop clapping only. What will you do in such a situation? You know what the acharya did there? He waited, he waited. And then he blew a whistle. Immediately everybody stopped. And he said, I have also been like you. Don't think that we have come from some strange planet. We have also done all this. And we also know all this. And then he had the audience in the grip. Next 2 minutes, over. In another place, another acharya went there. Audience already is not interested to learn. And this acharya goes there and says, my God is so great, so strong and so mighty. Everybody was in splits and laughter, making so much of fun. That person lost the grip only. Because who was sitting there is, they are like students of 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard. There you can't go and sing a Balvihar bhajan which is saying, my God is so great with actions and everything. Because that person thought that by doing that maybe I will get them in control. But gone, totally lost them out of control. So what is the age group and what will appeal to them? That is very important to keep that audience intact. Don't memorize and vomit, please speak. Especially if you just read what is there on the PowerPoint or just read a prepared speech, that is the worst thing that one can ever do. So never to do that. You can always use relaxation techniques, breathing, singing, jogging, screaming, praying, whatever. Not on the stage. Make you relax. Be passionate, that's all that matters. Actually, that is what really matters. The rest of it will just come. Enjoy. If you don't enjoy your talk, nobody else will. Boring inspiration is no inspiration. One must enjoy the talk, and that's where the feeling part comes. If you really feel for it, you will talk nicely. So these are a few aspects of public speaking. If you are a public speaker who has to speak a lot, or if you have back-to-back sessions, it is important to have a small gap between sessions. Do not schedule back-to-back sessions immediately. One batch over, next batch, one batch over, next batch. No. Keep some half an hour gap in between, very necessary. Because our energy levels otherwise keep depleting. And recently I just learned, maybe you won't need, you may not need it, but I learned one of the very important aspects for speaking is that do not speak without breath. So generally as a speaker, we use the mouth to talk, but we need to use the mouth to breathe also. So the breathing has to be both with the nose and the mouth. Then you take more breath in. 1. And 2, never talk without having enough breath inside. So I'll show you a simple example. So if I have to say this, don't memorize and vomit, speak. Use relaxation techniques. Breathing, singing, jogging, screaming, praying, whatever. This is one way. Second way is, don't memorize and vomit, speak. Use relaxation techniques, breathing, singing, jogging, screaming, praying, whatever. Be passionate. That's all that matters. Enjoy. If you don't enjoy your talk, nobody else will. Boring inspiration is no inspiration. What is the difference in these two? The second one, there is no breathing happening. So one is exhausting all the breath, then again taking little bit, again exhausting. That is how many times we speak. So we don't exhale while breathing and while talking. And exhalation while talking is the easiest way to talk. Not holding the breath while talking. I was really wondering when I was taught this, I said, what did we learn? We don't know how to walk. We don't know how to breathe. We don't know what to eat. We do not know how to listen. What the hell did we learn in 20 years? Breathing also we don't know. Forget breathing while talking. Normal breathing we don't know. We all breathe with the chest. And very simple logic is told to us that why do you need diaphragm breathing? Because the chest, the lungs are inside the rib cage. And they can expand only this much, sideways. But lengthwise they can expand. So if we do the diaphragm breathing, then the lungs expand downwards and the air is taken in much more, and then that person is able to be more energetic and speak. Majority we breathe with the chest, and even if those breathe with the stomach, they breathe like this. And it should be ulta. When the air goes in, stomach bulges out. Why stomach bulges out? Because actually it is the lungs coming down, and that's why that whole thing is happening. कौन सिखाया है? कोई नहीं बताया. Till I came to a natural diet, which was that fruit and all that, my breathing was not even diaphragm breathing. And how the natural diet of fruit makes the breathing diaphragm is very amazing. You don't have to do anything. If you see a baby's breathing, no, it is a diaphragm breathing. That's a natural way of breathing for any human being. But slowly, because of stress and tension and worries and thinking and all, we get stuck. Then we don't know what to do. And our whole breathing becomes reverse breathing or chest breathing. And how if you change to the natural food, the more natural food we take, the fruits and vegetables and sprouts and nuts, automatically the breathing becomes diaphragm. Even the food affects. So as a speaker, be aware of the breathing and how to breathe. While exhaling, talk. So these are few aspects about this public speaking.